$100,000. $100,000 is a huge number. When people said that Bitcoin would get to $100,000, there were a ton of people that didn't believe it at all. At least you can look at Bitcoin and say it's at a reasonable market cap at these levels. But I want to talk about the reality of a position that is not going to be at a reasonable market cap if it decides to get to $100,000. And this is why many people have a huge problem with any position like that getting to $100,000. You start factoring market cap, and it's a big problem. But Economist, right, explains the reality behind XRP's price reaching $100,000. Can it actually overtake Bitcoin? So we're going to talk about that in this video. Now, understand my take on it before we do get into it. I'm not pushing for $100,000. I don't believe that we are going to 100% see $100,000 per coin, right? I like to factor in market cap. I understand at a certain extent market cap doesn't matter, but for the time being, as we look at cryptocurrency, market cap does matter for right now. Long term, long distance future, it would be great if we saw that, but there's so many things that need to happen for these unexplainable or ridiculous, I would say in a way, things to happen. I'm a big fan of XRP, big believer in what Ripple can do and all of that stuff, and I don't want to downplay how much I believe in XRP. I just don't want to give people these realities that are insane. Now, I've said in the past that, lower levels like 10,000, 1,000, $100, those are more likely to happen. And all of those things happen based on certain things that happened through the process of Ripple becoming a lot bigger, right? A lot bigger of a name, a lot more important, a lot more involved, as well as XRP and XRPL being involved in more and more places and more businesses and all of that stuff, right? So there's a lot that goes into it. But if you could, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell for more of these videos. Also, make sure you check out some of the links that are down below. It does help out the channel. And if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Patreon at PerryHGA, you can follow me over there. Don't forget about my link for BTCC if you guys want to sign up for that platform. It is a great leverage trading platform that I've been using for over a year. And if you decide to use my link, you can get a 10% deposit bonus. You can get extra bonuses up to $10,055 and up to 40% lower trading fees. So feel free to check that out. If you guys want to leverage trade, if you want to trade outright, or you want to demo trade, maybe test the markets, you can do that with that platform as well. That link will be at the top of the description. Now, an economist explains the reality behind XRP's price reaching $100,000. An economist and former Forex analyst, Moonchaser, is explaining why expectations of XRP price reaching $100,000 are not realistic. According to Moonchaser, many XRP fans misunderstand how market value works by claiming that XRP has no market cap. The Economist highlighted that XRP, like any other asset or cryptocurrency, is affected by supply and demand and liquidity. Economist explains the reality behind price reaching $100,000. Moonchaser, who studied economics and previously worked as a Forex analyst, says that some people in the XRP community believe the token can reach extreme prices because they think it has no market cap. This idea, Moonchaser explains, is built on a misunderstanding of how currencies are valued and traded in the real world markets. In their view, economic principles apply equally to all assets, whether they are fiat, money, commodities, or digital tokens. Using the US dollar as an example, Moonchaser notes that every currency has a measurable total value based on the amount of circulation in the global trade. The dollar's value changes daily because of the balance between supply and demand and liquidity. The same rule applies to XRP's price, which also trades across international markets and follows the same market laws. It means that XRP's price is not free from limits and cannot simply rise endlessly based on belief or community hype. Moonchasers stress that ignoring these realities creates unrealistic expectations within the XRP community, according to them. Calling XRP a currency does not make it limitless in value. Instead, XRP functions with the same market framework that governs all financial assets. XRP can overtake Bitcoin due to the market structure. In their post, Moonchaser further explains that market capitalization, which is price multiplied by circulating supply, applies to every form of tradable asset, whether it is fiat, gold, digital coin. Traders can always calculate the total market value. XRP is no exception to this rule. The Economist points out that XRP has a measurable circulating supply and a price that moves through normal market discovery, where the balance between buyers and sellers directly determine the potential value, not wishful thinking. Now, currency does not mean that the capable asset, a capless asset, Moonchaser says, reminding traders that every market has structure and limits. Moonchaser emphasizes that their comments do not spread fear or negativity towards XRP. Instead, they want XRP investors to understand the realistic economic structure behind its price movement. XRP's market position depends on measurable data, not speculation about infinite growth. The Economist concludes that this is not FUD, it is simply market reality based economics. Through this explanation, Moonchaser helps the XRP community see that price depends on a genuine demand and market behavior, not dreams and capitalist value. While XRP continues to be an essential player in digital finance, the idea of reaching $100,000 or surpassing Bitcoin remains far from economic reality. Now, I'll give you my 2 cents, right? I understand everything that's being said here, and I think it's absolutely true that it does not have a capitalist value to it. It's just the way that I would look at it is it's more of an unexplored, and maybe a lot of people don't understand what that full value will be, because cryptocurrency is like nothing else. When you can potentially use it as a form of payment, it is looked at completely differently than how we view gold or fiat currency or any other thing that's out there, right? Because this is something that will grow in value, has a cap on how many coins are out there, also can burn the amount of coins that are out there, right? We can see a decrease in that supply. So it's something that we can't compare to the dollar, because the dollar can always print more, and they will continue to print more. And now it's not even backed by anything. So it's basically what we want to believe that it's worth. A dollar is worth this. And let's say that this water bottle was worth $1 at one point, and now the next year it's worth $2, right? So you have that inflation based on the products that you sell and based on how many dollars people want to bring in, how people are getting paid, all this other stuff, right? For cryptocurrency, it's a completely different look on it. The value of that cryptocurrency can rise based on the amount of people that are utilizing it, the amount of places that you can use it, the amount of people or banks or businesses that are storing it, and seeing that as a not only just a currency and being able to utilize that, but also something that can be a store of value in a way, right? It's going to grow in as people are using it, as people desire it, as countries want to communicate with each other. You're talking about something you're comparing it to a business, right? That's a US business. You're comparing it to a fiat currency, which is one fiat currency, not the communication between multiple fiats in different countries. There's a lot more that needs to be discovered. And while I agree, there shouldn't be a cap that you associated with it, but you understand that there will be a cap. You can't go and give out these larger levels and say $100,000 this is what it's going to get to. $100,000 is a crazy market cap. But to say that it can't get to some of these crazy market caps based on the fact that it's going to be heavily usable, it's going to be heavily obtainable by regular people. You're going to be able to either bypass banks or utilize banks, and where Ripple is partnering with. Institutions are going to allow you to utilize it, or you can just put it aside, which you'll probably have the government or multiple governments that decide to create a reserve taking some or taking a lot out of the circulating supply. You might end up seeing 40 to 50% taken out of the circulating supply. So now the max supply that you can see is 50 billion, unless they decide to release some of that reserved supply and do something with it, right? There's a lot to be discovered here, and that's what makes it insanely interesting. So say that XRP can't pass Bitcoin. XRP can pass Bitcoin in market cap. I don't know if it necessarily will pass Bitcoin in price. I'm not saying that. I think Bitcoin can get up to 500,000, even to $1 million, right? We can see these levels for that. And I don't expect XRP to get up to those levels. But what I do expect is to see XRP be more usable than any other cryptocurrency that's out there. And that's why I see this level of $100 as a truly obtainable level. Right, that's a $1 trillion mark as you get to these levels, $2 trillion mark, as you get to some of these levels. So I believe that it can get there and be worth multiple trillions. It's just, can it be worth hundreds of trillions of dollars? And that's where I kind of draw the line, and I'm going to say no. But let's always keep in mind that this is an asset with a capped amount, meaning that throughout normal processes, depending on how you're utilizing it and how many transactions are happening, you're going to see certain amounts that are held for reserve, certain amounts that are burned off based on these standard transactions. And honestly, you don't know what that end supply will be. That end supply could be 10 billion. Then you could see some of these higher prices. That end supply could end up being 1 billion. You never truly know what will happen in the future and what the overlying business will do, what institutions will do, what banks will do. Who knows? And that's what makes it interesting for me. So $100,000 price, while I still don't look at it as a reality, I still understand that there always is a slight chance that those things could happen. So I don't completely throw it out the window, but I'm not banking on it. For my personal XRP, I'm not holding all of it until $100,000, right? I have a certain amount that I'm looking to make money off of short-term, long-term, ultra-long-term, forever, right? That's kind of where I stand. Let me know what you think about this. Do you believe XRP can get to $100,000 per coin? Do you stand where I stand? Do you stand where The Economist stands? Or do you stand somewhere else entirely? Guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell for more of these videos. Also, just to give you an update on where XRP is right now, because we are seeing some positivity. XRP currently stands at a $2.50 price. It's at a $150 billion market cap with $5.37 billion worth of volume. And again, you're almost at that 60 billion coin supply. And, we can talk about this all day, honestly. But hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.